Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Reiner, your host of the Independent Doctors of Pahrump, a TV show that airs Monday night on Channel 46. I want to remind you that I am a practicing physician in Pahrump, and I'm an independent practitioner, which means I am not bought by any insurance company or corporate medicine. We provide the highest level of care. We have nurse practitioners. We have other physicians, specialists who come to our office. Please come visit me. I'm at 1316 East Calvada here in the heart of Pahrump. Thank you. Welcome back from the break. And one of the things I do want to set straight is my patients are coming in a lot of times and telling me that there's some rumor in town that I'm leaving and that I'm moving to Texas and all this other stuff. So I'm telling you, the public, if you hear that, you can say that on this TV show, I'm not moving to Texas, okay? So I do go there and visit frequently, but I'm not abandoning anybody. I've got a lot of obligations here. I mean, I enjoy this town, enjoy working with Creig, and we've got this new partnership going, and I really enjoy the camaraderie. He's a fun guy. We think a lot alike, so I just need to set that straight. Now, back to the insurance deal. So when you got an IPA like Healthcare Partners, they hire their physicians. It's an independent physicians association. They say it's independent because there's this thing called the corporate practice of medicine. They can hire doctors. Doctors can hire doctors, but other people that are not in the field of medicine can't hire doctors because they think that it can lead to directing a doctor to do things for money. So, and that's a very important thing. So doctors can form associations, doctors can collaborate, but whenever you start mixing money into the mix, okay, there's always that little thing where, Humana, the IPA has to pay the first $30,000 of an individual's health care cost. After that, Humana has to pick everything else up, okay? So there's a tremendous incentive to manage their patients a little differently because that amount of money that Humana bonuses them at the end of the year can be very, very substantial.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? As opposed to Senior Dimensions, which uses a multi-contractual relationship with different physician groups. And what I have seen since I've been handling with Senior Dimensions for quite a while, they're actually branching out. Before they would contract with one person, then they would contract with only this person, so they would bottleneck everything. And I didn't exactly agree with that, but they're changing that. And they're starting to contract with, like, they have 4 general surgery units this year, okay? And they have several gastrointestinal people. So they realize that they can't make money unless they grow their population, because the idea behind it is not everybody gets sick on the same day and there's strength in large numbers. That was the whole idea behind Obamacare. Yep. If we can get the young people to pay more, okay, for the growing population. And that's why the system has failed, because, I mean, most people don't have that kind of money. So, well, we're honored by Chuck. Hey, Chuck.
Hey, Doc, I had to call back.
Sure.
First of all, I think Louie's going to croak. Secondly,
we misdiagnosed him, huh?
There was a series of scathing articles by the AP and Center for Public Integrity over the weekend and today, which addressed opioids, the cozy deals with lobbyists in Congress. And I've rarely read one that went into detail like this did. Multiple articles on it, so something's afoot.
Yep.
And again, it's if you go to the AP on the internet, you'll find them. They're all over the place.
I read some of those articles today, Chuck. That's where I pulled some of those numbers out of.
Yeah, Yeah, the deals they describe in these series of articles, it's really amazing. Many people have known, but to see it tomorrow night in this time slot, and we'll be covering this more in depth tomorrow night.
So you're going to be with Gibson tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Watch your wallet.
I'm the better looking one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you go. Thanks.
All right, thanks for calling. Well, we all know lobbyists exist, and we know why certain things get special treatment. The pharmaceutical companies have really, I've never seen anything like what they're doing to the average public.
That's crazy.
Yeah, even generics. It used to be when generic came out, there would be multiple companies bidding, but they decided to make this isolated thing where you would pay for an exclusive to manufacture that product. You're still buying the parent drug from the company that designed it and developed it in the first place, and you're repackaging it on the way you're doing it. But on the other hand, you are not, lowering the price, and they're only doing it for 2 years. So they got this other company coming in and making all this money. Ray.
Yes, I heard Louis talking about blood pressure, and reminds me we used to have a show on TV called Louis and the Flagman. It was on for about 17 months, and I used to always tell people the healing power of the pup, and that your blood pressure actually goes down when you're petting your dog or your cat or whatever. And this is a real fact. This happens. People calm down. So it's good to have a pet, especially a pet that you can associate with, that it doesn't tear you apart if you pet it or something like that. So then it comes to mind something that happened recently. It's a lighthearted story. My cat is named Itchy 8. All my cats are named Itchy. So Itchy 1 was like 38 years ago, and now it's Itchy 8. Those are the cats that actually stick around. I name them Itchy. All those that are here for a day or two, I don't have time to give them a name. So anyway, Itchy 8 gets finicky and doesn't want to eat the cat food. He eats some dry food, but it's just kind of like turning his nose up at the canned food. So I tell Louis the Canio, and Louis loves cats. So he gives me some cans of pink salmon. He said, you give this to Itchy 8, and Itchy 8 will eat it. And sure enough, I get down and I give the cat, and I got to chop it up because the cat doesn't like big chunks of pink salmon. So anyway, it eats the pink salmon, walks out the door is ajar. 10 minutes later, comes in with a dead mouse and drops it in the dish, almost saying, thank you, Uncle Louis, for the pink salmon. And it was hilarious. I said, what's she bringing this mouse in? So then I asked Louis, I said, what do you want me to do with the mouse? He said, get rid of it. I said, I can't. The cat will get offended if he sees me throwing that mouse away. It just gave you a present on this mouse. So I wanted to share that story. My last question for the night is, how's this new, the hospital has been taken over by, I believe, Valley Hospital. How's the new operation going? What's the input? I mean, if you guys know anything about it, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's time for another caller, but I called 3 times tonight, so I'll talk to you guys. It was a good show.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ray.
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah. I really don't know. I mean, Valley Hospital System bought them out. I think the jury is still out on what changes are going to be made and how it's going to benefit the community. My initial thought is that they would hopefully bring in a few more services to pull from, but I think time will tell, and they may just maintain the status quo just so they can continue to direct all of the referrals from the hospital down to their hospital system. And I think people have the right to go wherever they want to go, but ambulance rides and things of that nature are pretty much dictated by the illness. So there's this, like we talk about, this golden window of opportunity and trauma to get somebody in someplace. So if you don't send them to this hospital or this hospital, you may violate that golden hour of transport. So I'm hoping Valley will bring stuff up here. I think they certainly have the revenue source to do it.
Yeah, they do.
And they certainly would be an impetus to do that, because then they can control the stuff can stay here in Pahrump. And that's the whole object. If they bring the services, they don't have to worry about sending it down to which hospital. They can keep it up here and generate the revenue here. The problem is that Pahrump, the hospital was created as a critical access care hospital. That's why they only built 23 beds or so many beds, because Medicare pays them differently than the other hospitals. As a critical access care hospital, you can't keep anybody for longer than 96 hours. You get paid cost on what it costs you to run these things, so you don't lose money. If Medicare has a diagnosis-related group and pneumonia, you come in with pneumonia, normally they pay you by what the diagnosis is. And doesn't matter if the patient stays X days, they'll only pay this much. And Medicare started doing that right about the time I was in internship. And it was actually amazing, right? It happened on January 1, and up until January 1, as an intern, I would carry a census of about 20 patients in the hospital, okay? When DRGs went into effect, diagnosis-related groups, my census was cut in half. They no longer admitted people to the hospital for a workup. And I have patients that come to me and say, I'm not feeling well, can you just send me to the hospital for a workup? No, I can't.
Yeah.
You can't go to the hospital for, a workup. Nobody does that anymore. And really, the type of care that, and I'm not saying it's bad, but what I see sometimes in the hospital, the overwhelming number of patients that need help and the lack of ability to do that, you wouldn't want to be in the hospital just for someone to ignore you, because that's kind of what they do. The sickest or the squeakiest wheel gets the most oil. And so medicine that my age grew up and your age grew up in, it's going to change over the next few years. And it might change for the better if they have better science, but when you're serving God, which I think is serving medicine, and you're serving money, the two just don't mix. It's oil and water. And those that are serving the money side of it, your heart's not in the right place. People look to us for help, and they look for us for compassion and guidance and things of that nature. And if you're being directed by how much money I'm going to make at the end of the day, your heart's not in the right place. And at the end of the day, it's not always about the money. It's about knowing that you did a good job for your patients and you spent time with them. And that's why some people love me to come to my office. Other people don't, because they hate to wait. And listen, I give my time. It's all I got, and I'll sit there with you until we figure it out. And if we can't figure it out, then okay, we'll meet again. But I'm not rushing out the door, and you're the same way.
Well, I think making money tertiary in your concept of treating patients,
Lost your mic.
is truly the way to go, because you're focused on the patient, you're focused on their well-being, you're focused on getting them well. And that's another reason why I enjoy
that's why
practicing with you.
that's why we're successful, and we focus on the patient. So keep that in mind, and hopefully see you same time, next place, same day on this channel.
Thank you, Pahrump.
Thank you.